This is the Empath's survival guide to the apocalypse. All right, so everybody always thinks the world's coming to an end. You're like, oh my god, all these feelings.
And it is.
Well,
and the world's being reborn at the same time.
Boom. That's the best part. It's a level up. It is a good thing. The end of the cycle, right? And we're not even going to get into ascension and whatnot. But when ages and eons and yugas and cycles come to an end, it's always going into something else. We're in, once again, Kali Yuga, or like an Iron Bronze Age type of situation going into a Golden Age. So this is nothing but good news, ladies and gentlemen. All this end of the world shit, it's the end of the evil motherfuckers that have been running shit for the couple past thousands of years. The people are taking back over. This is nothing but good news. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bridge Podcast.
Whoa.
I am your host, Sean Nix.
Jonathan Matthew here.
How the hell are you feeling today, bro?
If you had one superpower, what would it be?
I already got way more than one superpower.
If you had to pick one, like,
extrasensory superpower.
yeah,
that
I'm
don't
talking
currently
like a
possess.
Marvel, DC.
Well, there's plenty of those that I do
magical.
have, but I see what you're saying. Well, I got that. I got that. You're
You can
saying
climb
some,
on walls?
You're saying the well, yeah, of course I can. You're saying some more like fly or
Yeah,
time
something
travel or
that
something.
defies normal reality.
Normal reality. Hilarious. Flying would be cool. I think I'm going to go full-blown, and this sounds... Ooh, no, that was going to be a tricky one.
I guess it makes a difference if you're actually doing shit with your superpower, right? Like if you're actually saving people's lives or if you're just fucking around.
I'm
Right?
already doing that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I was going to say, and this is where I got tripped up, and my higher self was like, don't say that. You don't want to say that.
What was
I was going to say the Wolverine deal. And I was going to say, oh, it'd be cool to live forever.
like a regeneration?
Not only regeneration, but he never dies and
Yeah.
shit.
Well, Logan, that's a sad movie.
What happened there, though? Why? Did they ever explain why he finally ran out of his powers? I love that movie.
It was in, spoiler alert, X-Men, or the Wolverine?
Yeah.
Where that woman sucked some of his...
Okay, took his powers a little bit,
some
so
of
then
that.
he turned into a regular...
Yeah, it was like half regular, half mortal.
This
It's like,
water's...
like a Hercules kind of deal. Like they...
Hercules!
Like,
This
yeah.
water's so full, I feel like I gotta do the Trump with two hands, or the T-slurp. Okay, we're safe now.
You're doing the cat.
Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's all I'm clapping. Like, that's interesting shit. Like a spoon tongue they got going?
Yeah, that's... You ever tried to drink water like that before?
I have not. Well, I have those type of skills, too.
Hell! Bridge After Dark.
That's so funny. The Bridge Love Line.
Yeah.
Love Bridge.
That's a lucrative idea. I think we would both be good on the phone.
Of course.
Talk.
Are you kidding me right now? Butt-eating
baby,
techniques?
Yeah.
How to eat ass by practicing with ice cream.
That's an audiobook idea right there.
We're doing it, coming soon. I'm not dodging the question, though. So I stopped myself from saying Wolverine, like, you can live forever.
Why'd you stop yourself, though?
Because it was my higher self was like, you don't want to say that.
Why?
Because I like put that out there. Because it's like, I already am living forever. So basically, I think it's you don't
like
want to
your
live.
physical body.
Yeah, you don't want to live forever in the same physical body because then you don't get different lessons. You'd be like stuck.
That's a lot.
Because that's what they're trying to do to people with the transhumanism and shit.
Do you think you could help more people, though, by being
That's
alive in
why
your
I wanted to
physical
say it. That's why my ego wanted to say it. I was like, if I live forever,
You might
I
be
just
able
keep helping everybody. Because the downfall that people say that you don't want that, and why Logan didn't want that, is you get you fall in love and interpersonal connections, and they all die. So instead of seeing a couple people die in your life, knowing that you're going to eventually expire.
You've literally seen everybody, the entire planet's died.
Forever.
That's a lot. Immortality, which is like hilarious. Like that's the goal of all bad guys is to be immortal, like in every movie.
Okay, so this could be a good one or a bad one because you can get good with it and you can get sneaky with it and you can get cheeky with it. I am an empath, but what about telepathy?
Ooh.
Like some Professor X shit.
Oh, that's intense.
That's intense.
That's
great responsibility.
That's a great responsibility, going to people's thoughts like that.
I know. So
everybody's walking around with metal helmets all of a sudden. It's like, get out of my brain, bro.
not going to save you. Your tinfoil hat's not going to save you there. So yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Interesting.
Telepathy.
I always pick the shapeshifter one. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Whoa, right? There's already beings out there.
So
that.
You can, I mean, that's.
Well, I like
you
that.
can go
so
like
Mystique type of situation.
Mystique, or like the Beast Boy in like the DC universe.
Oh, nice.
Because you can use it for, because Mystique can do both positive and good things with that.
Every power has his dark side.
Yeah, but I feel like shapeshifting into
whatever, anybody.
Yeah, like a table
or anything. Right? I was going to say objects as well.
A chair. Hey.
I like it. Sit on my face.
Sit on my face.
I like it. So here we go. This episode is about empathy. It's kind of a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Empath's survival guide to the apocalypse. All right, so everybody always thinks the world's coming to an end. You're like, oh my god, all these feelings.
And it is.
Well,
and the world's being reborn at the same time.
Boom. That's the best part. It's a level up. It is a good thing. The end of the cycle, right? And we're not even going to get into ascension and whatnot. But when ages and eons and yugas and cycles come to an end, it's always going into something else. We're in, once again, Kali Yuga, or like an Iron Bronze Age type of situation going into a Golden Age. So this is nothing but good news, ladies and gentlemen. All this end of the world shit, it's the end of the evil motherfuckers that have been running shit for the couple past thousands of years. The people are taking back over. This is nothing but good news. So,
exciting stuff.
Surprise, surprise, not everyone is an empath. Some of y'all are just emotionally unstable. All right.
Trigger warning.
Just so you know. Oh, well, you're welcome, because triggers are a gift. And that's where, when you feel a certain thing, oh my God, I was triggered, that just shows you where you're not free and where the work is. So that is a gift, because a lot of times you're unaware or unconscious of the holes in your game.
Yeah.
And all we're trying to do is learn lessons and experience things and get better.
Blind spots. That's what they are.
And we just took it from your blind spot. Oh, you got a quarter behind you.
You know what fixes blind spots?
Mirrors.
Heo, reflection.
Bam! Look at that. That's a fucking no-look pass and shit.
That's what Mahomes left-handed no-looker?
I was thinking like John Stockton and Karl Malone for some reason. They're just always on the same page. So, some people say they're an empath, and they might not be. Some people are empaths, and they don't know it. And recently, I've been coming in contact and connection with a lot of people that are and didn't know it, or are newly coming into their powers, which is the awesome part of this new revolution, apocalypse, age of Aquarius, whatever you want to, Great Awakening, let's say, because that's just legit, for sure.
The new Renaissance.
Yeah, the new Renaissance.
Spiritual Renaissance, as you could say.
Yeah, the spiritual Renaissance and the Great Awakening. Thank you. That's perfect. So many. It's usually women coming into their powers now, and they're like, yeah, I can see, feel, and taste colors, and I can, I'm like, my intuition is off the charts.
You sure you don't have a concussion, Karen?
My intuition is off the charts. There's voices in my head. People, because that's what people always say. They're like, you're going to think I'm crazy, but here's the story. And I want to be like...
Don't call me but.
If you thought I was going to say that you were crazy, your intuition wouldn't have told you to message me now.
Yeah.
Because not only am I going to not say that you're crazy, I'm going to gas the fuck out of your story and encourage you to follow your intuition and embody your magical powers, because all that shit is true. And we don't have to get into the divine feminine been held down for thousands and thousands of years. And I've spoke before, I know enough about, just from documentaries and reading about magical Egypt, like ancient Egypt, not the stupid ancient Egypt from 4,000 years ago that they told you about in school, but like real magical Egypt. You get into like Graham Hancock and John Anthony West, their research in Egyptology and geology. Robert Schoch is the geologist that worked with John Anthony West. And Graham Hancock does all kinds of work on that, and Graham Hancock said, we are a species with amnesia. So there's been all these cycles in different cultures. So anyway, what I was getting at is, real ancient Egypt was a matriarchal, divine, feminine society. So they had more spiritual technology than physical hardware technology, right? So all the statues, the woman wore the big headdress, and the woman had their arm around the man. The man was the worker, the provider, and the protector. The woman had the magical powers. That's what it's supposed to be. A real king and queen is the king leads and makes the decisions based upon the advice, intuition, loving, compassion, kindness of the queen.
What's the most powerful piece on a chessboard?
The king ends the game, But he don't move too far because the queen's got his back.
The
queen does all the fucking work. The queen does all the
magic.
magic.
The lions, who gets all the food, does all the hunting,
The king is the king. He sits around on his ass for 23 hours a day. The women raise the kids, hunt for the food, do all the motherfucking work. And the only way that the male gets up, the only way that the king gets up off his nap is if they're getting fucked with to protect them from dogs or hyenas or from other lions.
And then you mentioned Kali. Kali is the goddess of destruction, right? Who's the destructive form of Shakti, the divine feminine. She's more powerful than Shiva in the famous story where she literally kills an army of demons by chopping their heads off and drinking their blood so they don't replicate.
That's the best part about the Bhagavad Gita. They go hardcore into the war metaphors, war stories.
Because war is the perfect metaphor for polarity and divisiveness and duality, right? There's like two sides and good and evil, light and bad, which we just talked about in the 7 Laws of the Universe episode, right? So
love it. So what is empathy, right? It's the ability to feel other people's feelings and put yourself in their shoes. Feel and envision their experience as if it was your own. Sympathy is to feel for someone. Oh, poor baby, and pity and stuff like that. And that's fine. You feel bad when you see something happen or whatever. But empathy is to feel with them.
Yeah.
Okay? The root word pathos in empathy in Latin means suffering. So empaths suffer with. You feel the suffering of the person you're connected with, having a conversation with, in a relationship with.
They're putting yourselves in the person's shoes. Where that expression comes from, just being able to experience what they're experiencing.
That's it. So empaths are soaking up the emotions around them, good or bad. So
you get high highs and low lows based on other people's energy. If you allow that to, impact your energy.
Been there, but it gets fun and it gets helpful when you're aware of it and you're aware how to alchemize and transmute that heavy energy, because then you can help yourself and help people. And when you know clearing techniques, so you're not letting that heavy energy drag you down. Yeah,
it's really about, if you don't know you're an empath, is where people fall into boundary issues, right? Where
boundary issues and emotional roller coasters.
Yeah, because now you're feeling ways and your energy is being dictated by things outside your control. If you're unaware of it, it feels like I am emotionally unstable or volatile or I'm over emotional, but you may be picking up things and lending your energy to other people too much, right?
Yeah, without boundaries and intentions.
Yeah.
And you're magical and you're awesome. You're just letting people not even walk all over you, but you're just being too much of a sponge and not wringing it out.
Yeah.
And we've seen it with movies, commercials, music. They make you feel a certain way because everything is about emotion. We talk about this all the time. Human experience.
Pulling the heartstrings is what they call it, right?
And that's how you remember your traumas and memories. It's all attached to emotion.
Yeah.
So that's what triggers are. It triggered an emotion within you, then that triggered your subconscious to go back when you were 8.
The very first time
first time.
Yeah.
Because that is the big hitter.
Yeah, because the majority of empathy is developed during childhood, right?
First 7 or 8
those
years.
Formative years where you observe it, experience it, which is why you see in certain places or environments where why are they stuck in the same cycle of just negativity? It's because you get a father who lacks empathy, who raises a kid with no empathy, and that kid gets raised to become a narcissist or have no empathy and commit crimes and do things and have negative behavior.
It's a vicious cycle.
And unless someone becomes aware of that and does their own trauma work with that.
And then you do the inner child work, you do the shadow work, and then you heal yourself and you stop that cycle from being passed down to the next generation. That reminded me of my girl Teal Swan told the story of, she's like, girls think they're attracted to assholes, but a lot of times they were felt inadequate or unloved or treated like shit when they were young by a parent or whatever.
Yeah.
So then a guy with a pretty face treats them like shit, and their subconscious goes, oh, that's love. Let's hang on to that. No good.
He's no good.
No good. And so you heal that shadow aspect of your love life and your inner child and tell them that they're safe and they're loved and they're whole and complete. And they don't have inadequacy issues, because that's a lot of times when people are talking about, oh, I'm so nervous of what other people are going to think.
Yeah.
We talk about that a lot. People worrying about other people's opinions. And I always go, who the fuck gives a rat's dick about other people's opinions? And people are like, oh, easier said than done or whatever. But what that is something in your childhood where you felt inadequate.
That's me. That's a lot of people I know. And a lot of the work that I've had to do is just,
and now you're seeking external validation.
Yep.
So your subconscious is going to say, if I put myself or this thing or this project out there and people don't like it, then I won't feel loved.
Yeah, it's what's a reflection of me, right? So validation is a reflection of my own worth. Is what is the worth of this, right? And so,
but it all goes back to looking within.
Yeah.
Once
if you don't do that
you're
self-study,
loved and
right?
whole and complete. Because I put my shit out there. I don't give
Yeah.
a fuck. I air my dirty laundry in the front yard. You know what I mean?
Got shit in the drawers there, boy?
Well, listen, I don't give a goddamn. What you never had skid marks, Karen? You know, when the neighbors are nosy? But that's the thing. I just don't care about other people's opinions of me or none of my business.
But do you think that was part of your childhood, or like just an inherent personality type? Were you that way before, though, right?
Yeah, I've always been out there. I've always been a fire type and
Yeah.
a leader and putting it out there. Because here's the thing. What is somebody going to do to me?
Yeah.
Are they going to make fun of me? Because if you're going to make fun of me, I'm either going to laugh with you because it's funny, or I am going to feel for you and have compassion for you because you said something mean, and that's a projection of something that you hate about yourself. So I'm going to feel...
But before you did the work, what was your reaction, right?
Oh, that I hate myself. And then I should eat more food, do more drugs, and kill myself. And cry.
Yeah, there you go, right? So
yeah, no. I'm not saying it never existed. I'm saying I'm telling people that's what they can get to when they do the work.
But yeah, if you just accept like you bringing up the I'm attracted to assholes. If you just accept that as a part, that's just the way I am.
What people do,
which is a lot of people do for a lot of things, right? I'm just this way, right?
Oh,
instead of questioning why, get curious. Why am I this way, right?
And then stop those patterns and stop that repetitive language, because the language starts with your inner thoughts and the things that you're saying.
And going back to the last episode, equal and opposite forces exist, right? So for every question you ask, there's going to be an answer to that. So the more curious you get, like, well, why am I attracted to assholes, or why do I feel this way? Well, you're going to get an answer if you study enough, right? So that's the scientific method, right? You ask a question and then you do studies, experiments, gather information from the past.
I love that, because it's blind spots.
Get to a conclusion, right?
In your subconscious.
Yeah.
And what lets you see the blind spots?
Mirrors.
Reflection. In the mirror. Self-reflection. I love that. Because here's the thing. God, the universe, and nature make no mistakes. So every question there's an answer to. You just have to pause, breathe, sacred pause, and reflect.
And that's part of, the empath's work, especially if you're in a field where you have to give your energy to people a lot, like an HR space, a coaching space, like a therapist or whatever like that. Or even a parent, or like a sports coach or a teacher, anything where, especially multiple people at once simultaneously, right? Like managing your boundaries and practicing non-attachment into that, because what empathy is, right? You're putting yourself in someone's shoes. That's like an extreme form of attachment in a way that allows you to see their perspective. So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But then if you get absorbed and fully sucked in, well, then you're not going to be able to help them out, right? You need some sort of level of separation.
Yeah. And we've all seen when people vent on a quote empath, and then they float away. Oh my God, I feel so much better. And you feel like shit because you soaked it all in. So the key is to observe and not absorb. That is the key. Because here's the thing, it is a good thing. I like that you said that, because light attracts the darkness. That's why people latch on to empaths and vent to empaths. That's a good thing. Shine your light. That is your gift. Keep doing that, but just make that space and observe. And don't absorb.
Most of like the empaths, and I probably class myself as pretty in the middle, as being able to
you're
detach, rather balanced. I've definitely been like emotionally volatile before, not in an empathetic way, but I definitely have been empathetic in strong ways.
Yeah.
But what I've seen, like in a lot of people I know who are like very, very extreme empaths that don't know, like when I was younger, a lot of friends who like when you were in high school, like what the fuck do you know about being an empath,
you don't even know how to piss.
Exactly, right? But they would just be, attracting all the situations that they didn't even realize, right? So just, we always go back to the first step is awareness. So if you're wondering whether you're an empath, if these things have happened to you, you've attracted negative energy, you've attracted people venting to you a lot, people latching onto you a lot or leeching onto your energy, you feeling emotionally exhausted, or always having to find yourself in situations where you are that kind of person for somebody, you might have some empathetic qualities, which is a good thing.
It's a good thing. That's because of your light.
Yeah.
The moths are attracted to the light.
Yeah. Right, so that you're exuding light, now it's just time to make some boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Because usually the people who are highly empathetic have boundary issues.
Of course.
You know, not boundary issues, but people who don't realize they're empaths, I should say,
realize,
until later. Because you're just so... Because it's natural to you to just...
It is. Shine your light. Be out there.
And to be helpful for people.
And to be helpful for people, and that's a good thing. But if you're a lantern that's out there and all the moths are attracting to you and you don't put that glass shield over and make that
boundary... Getting bug guts all over you.
Get the bug guts on
Zap.
If not, right. But then you set up that glass boundary where they can come and feel the light and the warmth, but they go ba-dink, 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 and they fall
And then now
off
your light is preserved, and they've gotten what they need out of that, right?
Everybody wins.
Because you need the left brain, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere work together. You need both, right? And that's discernment. And
so smart.
That's where discernment is the more logical aspect of things. That's helpful versus judgment, and that's where empathy is the more
emotional,
more
right
balanced versus the extreme of that is like emotional volatility or emotional instability, right?
No good.
So having both those,
middle lane, baby.
Yeah, discerning when to be an empath and when to observe and when to soak in, because you can do that within the same conversation, right? Someone comes to you with an issue and is like, I'm feeling like a close friend of you. You come to me with a problem and like I sit with you, right? The same way you tell someone to sit with their own emotions and hold that space. Well, I'm going to sit with your emotions if I'm an empath, for however long it takes, but then at some point I'm going to detach, and that's where we'll begin to have a conversation of I'm giving you perspective that you can't have from an outside view, right?
I love that.
Because if I'm in your shoes, I'm getting your perspective, which helps me, but now I get two perspectives where you only have one.
And giving you that, and then turning around and showing you that other perspective.
It's like, okay, I felt what you're feeling
to
whatever extent I can.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm seeing from now having both perspectives.
Look at this.
So now that's where you can offer people helpful advice as an empath. And that's where you can become a coach and help other people if that's something you haven't tapped into. For anybody who feels an empath and they don't know, or they thought maybe I want to get into coaching and maybe it's not a good idea. Like if you have those capacities, right?
Or even people that don't want to do it professionally, but they're just that loving, caring, light-giving person that everybody vents to.
Yeah.
And then people come to me and they're like, I'm fried because everybody's dumping their shit on me, and it doesn't make them bad or it doesn't make you bad. But we're going to go over different clearing techniques. But the biggest thing you said is non-attachment. So hold space with loving kindness and compassion while practicing non-attachment. So I love what you said. Give them a different perspective and then show them that. So shine your light and hold space, but set intentions and sometimes even verbal affirmations that allow that doesn't allow that heavy energy to drag you down. Okay, so a lot of times, even if it's just in your head, saying like, I'm a sovereign being that's not going to let this heavy poisonous energy drag me down. I'm going to listen to them and have compassion and empathy for them. Yeah. And then I'm going to either alchemize and transmute that into motivation and inspiration and powerful positive energy that I can use, or like I said, we'll go over clearing techniques.
And that's awareness, right? That's like, and that's preparation too. Like I'm preparing to engage in this empathetic, exchange here. How can I do this most effectively? And so, like you said, I know that I am me, and I'm creating these boundaries right off the bat. It's like when you do like a tarot reading or a meditation, or even if you're going onto a shamanic journey, you set those specific intentions for what you want, and that can help be your guide. Whether it actually intentionally manifests, who's to say, right?
And then you let go and go for the ride. But.
But then, in that conversation as an empath, that's what you're doing. I'm setting the intentions, so I know I'm protected from my energy.
Love it.
Now I can let go and experience the conversation, the interaction the way it's meant to be.
Love it. And then a more practice of that is a meditation practice, which we'll probably say every single episode, because there's not one person on earth that cannot benefit from some type of meditative practice, no matter what your goal is or who you are. Because meditation helps you sit down everybody in the room, your higher self, your ego, which is your lower self or your persona, and your shadow aspect. And everybody gets a chair, and you organize those voices in your head, and then you can make the most clear decisions. That helps you be more mindful throughout the day. And then journaling, which we talk about almost every day.
Whoever doesn't speak first wins.
That's true. Right? That's true. Because the ego is always going to be like, check your phone, check your email, check your inbox, go get a snack, watch something, pull up a tab, watch some porn, go do something, do this, do that,
my back hurts, my front hurts,
my knee hurts. Oh, get up.
I'm thirsty.
You want to do something? I'm bored. Yeah. And then you every time,
mommy, mama,
mama, and every time you say no, I'm in control. You're not the body. I am in control of this body. That's a win. And those wins add up.
Yeah, well, who is it? Might have been Kelly, but she was talking with her, with the dog sitting, the young dog, and, it gets...
The story was so good.
But like puppies or kittens, too, like they just want attention from you. Same thing with your ego. Ego just wants to grab your attention and, be the focus of your attention, especially like tiny little dogs, right? And they just want to play, right? So if a kitten bites you, you don't lash out it or attack it, you ignore it, actually. and they learn like, oh, I'm not getting attention for what I did,
way.
right? So then that's how you treat the ego. And in meditation, it's like, I see what you're doing, but I'm not going to ignore you. Yeah, I'm not going to give you that time or energy, right?
That is such great. Talk to us about people that, because there's people, like you said, not everyone's an empath, but quote unquote normal people, it's a sliding scale of
Normies.
Normies, muggles, have a sliding scale of, like a spectrum of how much empathy.
So like the light spectrum you got going on there.
Yeah. Think for yourself.
Yeah, so like it's to say like I am pure empath, and the opposite is I have no, like it's no, everybody has different degrees of empathy.
Sure.
Some people, so you get on the internet, there's a lot of like, empaths, or there's a lot of coaches, but there's also a lot of narcissist talk, and that's a very big one, right? And a narcissist is someone who is essentially just self-absorbed in in an extreme way. And narcissistic personality disorder, it really, one of the main traits of that is low levels of empathy, right? Because there's just so much of self-absorption. So that's kind of the opposite of this, but you get sociopathy, sociopaths, again, who may, again, be really hyper self-absorbed as a personality trait, or may actually have something mentally wired differently, and it's hard to say and hard to know. But they get kind of like the bad people version of the thing, and I tend to refrain from using that because it, again, labels and divides people based on things that, if you look into a narcissist's history, you may find that they have their own trauma that created the way that they are. We just talked about how empathy's developed during the formative years. So now you're essentially yelling at an adult who didn't receive empathy or was not treated correctly or had their own trauma as a child.
And that's their defense mechanism.
And that's their defense mechanism, right? And that's why they've created this self-absorption, self-inflation, is because they need it.
To feel safe. Their inner child wants to feel safe. So it's fuck everybody. Yeah. I'm the best.
And so everybody else expends, not that narcissists shouldn't take responsibility for their actions or learn from it, and not that people who've been abused by narcissists don't have the right to feel upset and angry about it.
Yeah.
But bridging, the two worlds and understanding what makes a person a narcissist will help you as an empath, for one, understand how empathy works and doesn't work. So if you're in any of those camps, understanding the extremes of I'm a hyper empath. We talk about polarity. You can only know as much light as you can know darkness, right? So you can only know as much empathy as you know what it means to not have empathy at all. So if you're an empath and you want to be more, or if you want to study, empathy and increase empathy, a way to do that is to study what makes people not empathetic, right?
Boom.
And so that's how you can do that.
And that's what makes, because now I am so aware of my empath abilities. Yeah. Before I lose it, I want to quote my man Carl Jung again, because we either go Jung or Rumi every single day. A tree's leaves can't reach to heaven unless the roots have reached to hell. Oof. You know what I'm saying? That's what you were talking about before. But also we tie it into real world 3D modern day shit, just as mythology and analogies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's her name? And the Avengers. We were talking about it before.
Scarlet
Fucking it up.
Witch.
No. The empath.
Oh, Mantis.
Mantis. She goes, they were like, what's...
She is one of my favorite superpowers.
Of course. She goes, because that's me.
She is one of the most important ones.
That's me. Yeah. And she goes, my superpower is I'm an empath. And they go, what's that? And she said, telepaths read minds thoughts. Empaths feel feelings.
Yeah.
And I can go into a meditation and feel what everybody's feeling when we're having an interpersonal connection. So, but now that I'm aware of it, I set those boundaries of I visualize like not a brick wall, but like some physical distance. If I'm not trying to...
Fantastic Four Invisible Woman kind of deal?
Yes. If I'm not trying to get sucked in, like if I'm too busy and it's not a close friend or whatever. Yeah. But then when we make that connection, I'm like, oh, okay, because now I'm thinking like Avatar, where they connect to the...
Ponytails?
The thing. They connect ponytails.
You want to connect ponytails, bro?
Dude, because how they're feeling... Then that's how he rides the
horse,
the horsey thing, right? And because I've had visions and meditations of feeling people's feelings like they were my feelings and crying. So that's what gets into. So then I've now learned, after years and years of practice and an eternity of practice to come, that I can alchemize and transmute those heavy emotions. So I take that in, and then usually I end up sitting with it, feeling it, crying about it, and getting my space, and giving it some time and whatnot, and sitting with it. Then I'm like, okay, but wait, you're awesome now. And you've been through all that, so now I'm fucking pumped and motivated. I'm going to use that to create and inspire, and you've inspired me and motivated me. And now I'm taking that heavy energy, because energy is just energy.
Yeah.
And I'm transforming that into positive shit. And then I'm like, thank you for that. That's awesome. You're going to be fine. Everything was great. You're doing great now. And then, boom, I'm going to do something great with that energy.
It's like in Kung Fu Panda 2, when at the end of the movie, it's an obscure reference.
No, it's a great movie.
When the bad guy's like shooting the rockets at them, the rockets at him, he finds his inner peace, and he just kind of like feng shuis them and like rolls them off and rolls them back. So he takes the energy, that force that's coming towards him. It's like Aikido, right? That's what that is.
That's what I was thinking.
Jiu-jitsu, right? You take someone else's energy and use it again. Judo is the perfect example.
Judo's a perfect example, but that's kinetic, physical energy. Yeah. When somebody's coming at you, instead of bopping into them, you step to the side, use their energy to hip toss them.
Yeah. And like you said too, like, so when I was going to ask you too, just like, when did you start to really feel like, were they always there? Like, when you, from day one as a baby, you were like, I was highly empathetic to begin with, or like
I don't have like super early memories because, so I wouldn't say baby, because there was so much trauma. But yes, from there I was always emotional and then repressed it.
Interesting.
And then it imploded on self-abusive behaviors and harm, and like I said, overeating and drug addiction and physically harming myself and all that type of stuff. And then even worse, mentally and emotionally abusing myself. And then when I came into realizing that that's a gift and that's a power, was when we started doing more shamanistic journeys and just a meditative practice every day. And then reading more things of,
this is what's going on.
This is a gift. I feel everybody's shit, and instead of taking it out on me and everybody dump trucking a load of sand on me, I can be the alchemist, turn that energy into something productive for myself first, so I can get better, so I can help more people.
Yeah.
And now I know how to do some physical clearing techniques, which is similar to like Reiki type of stuff. We'll all shake the energy out, or exercise, or take a cold shower to change mood and emotion and flush things out, or a cold ice bath. We talked about before, like, if you've seen an antelope escape a deer, an antelope or a deer escape a lion.
Some deer on deer warfare there.
There's that.
Deer on deer crime.
Like an antelope or a deer escape a lion and not get eaten, their adrenaline is so high and they have so much emotion built up, they do like a shake type of thing. And they shake that energy out and they keep it moving. They don't hold on to that energy and get cancer and adrenal fatigue and all this.
Yeah, that emotional energy ends up getting released through the physical, right? Because all energy is bridged together.
I think it was my friend Chrissy gave me physically brushing yourself off and brushing that energy off. That's awesome.
Some dirt off your shoulder.
Brush dirt off your shoulders. Yeah. And then just movement and stuff, exercise, because that's, once again, emotion is emotion, energy in motion. So that energy has to move. So you got to get yourself moving. Sitting in bed, fucking eating Ben and Jerry's crying all the time is not going to help you. So you move that energy with those physical practices.
Yeah, or like you said, like a martial arts practice, even a slower one like a Tai Chi or a Qigong, which is not martial arts, but Qigong.
Yeah.
And
energy
then
movement, even yoga.
Yeah, yoga definitely too. Just get that, because that's that's literally what you're talking about.
Laughing like me reminded you of that.
I
got an idea for you.
Like the subtle body, the energy body, getting moved around the same way. When you sit the whole point of sitting tall during meditation is for your chakras, which is an energetic thing, but it's also a neurological thing at the same time, right? But you also mentioned too, like before you started doing more deeper work on your empathetic, feelings and abilities, or whatever, getting dump trucked or sand on, by other people, because that's not the negative, but that's a literal pitfall of being an empath is, someone's in a hole and they're like, help me, and you go to reach and you fall in too. So now you're in the hole with them.
They drag you in.
So you're definitely feeling what they're feeling, but now you can't help them for shit, right? Yeah. So it's
and then sometimes they'll climb on your back to get out.
And
and you're stuck in the same hole and they feel better.
Yeah.
So you don't want that. So you want to ground yourself, set your intentions, and get strong and pull them up out of that.
Yeah, so that intention is like, I'm tying a rope to this rock, and then I will go descend down to help you out. And come back.
Do that in your imagination. Yeah. Set that intention and affirmation. I love that.
Yeah.
That's great. For those of you that have a good imagination, if you know you're about to get into that conversation where somebody's going to dump something on you, go into your mind and breathe through your nose a second and tie a rope around a rock and then around your waist. And you say, I'm anchored and I'm grounded. And I'm going to hold space with loving kindness and compassion for this person. Hear the whole story, feel their feelings, show them a different perspective, just be with them. and then we're all going to feel better, and everybody's going to win, and I'm not going to get dragged into the pit of sand, fucking quicksand.
Exactly, yeah. That's no fun for nobody.
I like it. So, meditation, journaling, all these things.
Yeah, journaling's, what we talked about, emotion, energy, and motion. Journaling's a way to get energy out through, thoughts and the physical act of writing too, right? So that's a good way if you have like a low empathy, right? Or if you're on the opposite spectrum and you're like, I feel bad because I'm not an empath, or like I should be more empathetic, but you don't know how to be, right? Because like
you don't have to be, but if you want to be,
yeah. But if you want to develop that, which you can, it's more work to develop it as an adult, but it's absolutely 100% possible.
Well, we got to grow up sometime, John.
Yeah, right.
Do the fucking work, personal responsibility.
But yeah, so like journaling, working with your own emotions first. Practicing empathy with yourself first is probably what everybody needs anyway.
Oh, you're blowing my mind.
Versus working with somebody else. It's going to be hard to like go into a conversation, someone wants to unload something on you, you're not prepared for it. But now if I've just practiced like writing out my emotions that I have, my thoughts, and then sitting with those in a journal, now I can literally visualize and communicate with myself about my emotions, right? So I can be both the observer and the experiencer because I already am.
And it's practice.
Yeah.
So as personal trainers, I have never ever given someone an exercise, a corrective, a stretch, anything that I didn't practice on myself first. Ooh. So you know how to do it and how it feels. Now I saw a fucking YouTube video or read it in a book.
You've never given someone a single leg snatch on a Bosu with banded
if I feel that that's the tool that's necessary to get them to their goals, I'm going to come in 2 hours early and practice it every single day.
I would like to see that very much.
That one specifically is probably not the best idea. But point being is if I see something, I'm going to try it on myself first before I give it to anybody else. So I love that analogy.
Yeah.
That gives it right there. And that's why somebody like me, I think it was, just to tell a joke, I think it was Freud that said the Irish are impervious to psychotherapy because we don't fucking want to
I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
That's not really Irish, that's Conor McGregor.
No, I love it. Because here's the thing, if you don't have, and my friend Kate
I don't feel feelings there.
My friend Kate said, the opposite of addiction is connection. So you need that empathetic connection to talk to somebody or else you just feel like you're talking to a wall. So a lot of times, like for me, when I was like trying to go to therapy, it didn't work because the person had degrees on the wall and they're sitting there with their legs crossed and they're taking notes. And I'm like, bro, you ain't been through the shit that I've been through.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me so good at what I do is I'm the wounded healer. So I can go into their space, feel with them, not try to fix it immediately, and then when enough time has gone by, I'm like, oh, I got a whole toolbox full of tools because I've already fixed all these things before.
The best teachers are the best students, right?
That's it.
Or not even the best students, the students that learn the most, I should say, right?
Yeah.
That makes the best student, right? Anyway.
And that's it. And that's why I'm not saying therapy's bad, and I'm not even saying that it doesn't work for certain people whatsoever.
I think you're also seeing like a shift in just the therapy space in general as more people are starting to realize it.
Should. Yeah.
Because like bringing up Tara Brach here, like if you've never read her books or looked into her Radical Self-Acceptance, Living Life at the Heart of the Buddha, I think it's called. Really, really good book. And so she's a psychotherapist, but also a practicing Buddhist, practicing yogi, and she holds a really, really good balance, right? Because the balance is necessary because you got to be prepared. If you're in that space where you're helping others, you have to be prepared for any type of energy, right? Because you can be dealing with people who are emotionally volatile, or you can be dealing with people who have zero emotion whatsoever. So you got to be able to pull one handle forward, the left brain, the right brain forward whenever that's demanding. And practicing that within yourself, having a spiritual practice, but also having the psychological knowledge and those techniques and just experience is both useful, right?
It's the balance of book smarts and experience.
Yeah.
Which, once again, bringing it back to just lower level shit as a personal trainer, we've seen the meatheads that have all the experience in the world and they have a great physique and they can't explain to somebody what to do because they have great genetics and a great physique. Then we've seen the book nerds,
the mechanics.
Oh my God, that have all these letters and degrees after their name and they never fucking lifted anything heavier than a pencil or a test tube in their life. And I'm like, bro, I'm not taking advice for either one of you motherfuckers. Right, me, I'm watching videos, reading books every single motherfucking day, and I've never missed a workout in fucking 10 years. So it's that practical hands-on experience with the book learning.
Yeah.
Fancy book learning only gets you so far.
Fancy book learning?
I mean, I'm not a smart man.
I may not be a smart man, but I know what empathy is.
And then I know what empathy is. And that's the thing. And that, once again, you don't have to be an empath, even though it is a useful emotion and a tool to know how to use. And once again, you do not have to be a coach, trainer, therapist to use these things. We all know that person that their light is so bright that all the moths are attracted to their flame. And if you're that person where your friends are venting to you and woe is me to you and all these things, and you end up feeling like a soggy sponge because you're soaked in all their nonsense.
Or you do become like a doormat eventually, right? Because that can happen.
Yeah, so your work is non-attachment, using these clearing techniques, and setting your own intentions in space for everybody. Because then everybody wins.
Yes, you get to be your best version. Again, you get to help the person out of the pit without falling in yourself.
That's it.
That's great.
And that's how we all win. So it's not always people that have people coming to them for a shoulder to cry on and an arm to put around. Sometimes it's people throwing shade and throwing shit at people, shooting shots.
Yeah.
And this is what we said before. Other people's opinions of you have nothing to do with you. So if you know thyself, if you know yourself and you love yourself, and you know that you're happy and whole and complete, and you know your self-worth and you're not inadequate in any way, then you're able to put up a shield against people throwing stuff at you. Because we've seen people that take attacks from real life, from the comments section, from their mother, from their sister, from their spouse, from their whomever, and then they end up walking around all that person forgot about it. The person throwing the spears and the daggers and the shots. Now you're walking around because you have a big open heart and you're an empath, that you're holding all that negative energy and you take it out on yourself a lot of times because you really absorb instead of observing, like we talked about before, and you really take it personally. You take it to heart.
Because like empathy means to suffer with. So if I'm feeling the feelings of someone who hates me, then how am I not going to hate myself? How's that energy not going to transfer, right?
Well said.
And I think I just popped in my head, but like a really great example. I've referenced this movie a couple times already. We like movies here, the good ones at least. Soul. If you remember that last part where she's consumed by all the negative energy, and she puts up those angry attacks, and he still walks through because he knows he has to get to her, and that all this negative energy is just a projection, right?
So good.
So as an empath, he's going in with the attention, like, I know what you actually are, right? And so I know your action, whether it's negative energy, I still feel it, but now I can practice that non-attachment because I know it's not you. I know that energy is not me, right?
I love that. Yeah, the way I do it is, and it can be done in the present or in the past. Because like I said, like for the longest time, I hated my father and hated myself in the ways that I was similar to him. But all that is doing is holding on to a hot coal trying to burn somebody else.
Fuck you.
You're the one that gets burned.
Cut your nose off, split your face, right?
Literally. So how do you defeat that? You let it go. Okay, so what I did was he had died more than, fucking 20 years ago, something? 15? I don't know.
Yeah.
I apologized to him in a meditative state where his like presence or being or spirit or whatever you want to call it was there. And that was, it took a lot of courage. And it worked so well. Yeah. And it was great because I forgave myself. I forgave him. He said he was proud of me. I said, holy shit, I was proud of you. And then we put aside 99% of horrific mental, emotional, and physical abuse for that 1% that I could learn. And like I said, sifted through and discerned and looked for the lessons
the little
of
nuggets
like work ethic and leadership and like took the good qualities that are in me from him versus the 99% of shit that was horrific. Because who cares about that? Now I'm looking for the positive. The glass is half full.
Because you're not holding that hot coal anymore.
Because I'm not holding that hot coal of hate.
And it's not a part of you anymore.
So I do the same. So then I took that technique, because that's a big matzo ball right there, and I take that technique now, and somebody says something mean, I go, oh, I feel bad for you. Because somebody did something to you.
Yeah.
And I realized my dad did shitty shit to me because his dad did shitty shit to him. So why should I keep that cycle going?
Yeah.
When I become aware of that, I
so instead of judging that person, right, or getting engaged and locking horns now, right? Yeah, resistance.
What you resist, you assist.
Yeah.
So I pump the brakes, create space. Look around the other corner. Oh, now I have compassion, which is a higher vibration than hate. Hate, fear, shame, guilt, and judgment are at the bottom.
Like for me too, like one of the best techniques that I've developed or practiced is just is observing that, because I'm much faster to observe that with other people because I've observed it with myself a lot more, which makes it easier. But if someone's like throwing shade or says something passive aggressive or makes a comment or something like that, just like tell the truth. It's like, okay, hey, you said that. Why are you saying that? Like, forcing someone to explain to themselves why they're doing it.
And then that's a win-win, because they're either going to say something to your blind spot, and you're going to be like, oh, shit, you were right. I got something to work on.
Or they're like, whoa, I'm sorry I acted that, or I said that. Like, or it's like, you're right. Like, I fucking...
And then you feel bad for them because somebody did something shitty to them, so they're paying.
And then there's a connection there. It's like, we both see each other for the vulnerable beings that we are. I wasn't trying to call you out, but I saw you calling me out. Was something inside you? Are you okay?
You're not fighting fire with fire there.
Yeah.
Can't beat darkness with more darkness. Only light beats darkness. Okay? Can't beat hate with hate. Only love can beat hate.
Love.
That's a fact. That's
love will save the day.
Whole lot of love. I'm so lost without you. I was thinking of a song with love in it, and then I got sidetracked because I was like,
there's too many
of them. Right?
All of them.
I got sidetracked. What else was I going to say? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I either now I completely ignore, or I laugh and smile and feel bad for people. Because like I said, it takes you from hate, fear, shame, blame, judgment into love, kindness, and compassion, which is a higher vibration. So everybody wins.
Yeah, separate. Like, I see you're trying to hold me into some stuff.
Yeah, and instead of, because then you take that pause and that breath, and you don't emotionally react.
Yeah,
how many times have
tempting.
you typed the paragraph?
Yeah,
and then not sent
get the fucking fist is all clenched already.
Been there. Deep breath. Been there. And that's the thing. And a lot of times, I hope I say it every episode where I don't sound like I'm fucking pretentious or lording information or whatever. It's because I've done this work.
Yeah.
I've been to these places and I'm still doing it.
Exactly.
Practicing it every single day. Because it's like, I've fucking been there, guys.
Yeah.
That's why we got microphones. This is not book learning nonsense. Not that we're not learning and watching videos and continuing. But we've walked the path, and
we've been doing that for a bit now. Some deep self-study, right? So question why you feel the way that you do. Get curious about your own patterns. Get curious about your empathetic behavior or non-empathetic behavior, and get to the root of that. Because whether you are highly empathetic or highly inempathetic, you're going to learn something about yourself and the root causes of that. And that's just understanding empathy as a whole will make you better.
Understanding everything is energy. So whether they're coming with love to cry on your shoulder or they're coming with hate to throw stones at you, either way, you put up a shield, some space, create separation, observe without absorbing, and everybody wins.
Yeah. Discern the situation.
Be a discernment ninja.
Discernment love ninja.
Whoa.
A lovely discernment ninja? No. Discernment
love
ninja.
And discernment.
Love ninja.
Dude, original songs now, not just covers.
Oh, yeah.
Love Ninja, love Ninja.
Yeah.
That was awesome. We got to hit on that. Peace.